Hello everyone, and welcome to my week 6 video presentation. This presentation is going to cover review. It'll review 2 general public administration concepts, as well as review 2 public service management and leadership concepts. In conducting this review, I found 2 additional concepts which I believed were very important when it comes to the general public administrative side. These 2 concepts cover a broad range for employment, and I thought those were diversity and expectancy. First, the diversity came from theorist Joan Acker. In her theory of cultural change, I will explain the adversities that she overcame in her career. Next was expectancy, and that was by theorist Victor Vroom. He thoroughly explained in his theory of employee development performance that things will get done when employees feel appreciated. On the other side, with public service management and leadership, those lie more towards leadership styles. 2 important concepts which I identified were transparency and equity. Transparency came from the theorist John Keynes and was covered thoroughly in his theory of Keynesian economics. And for equity, I chose to research James Burns with his Mysteries of Leadership. I researched Joan Acker, and I learned that her main argument or her main point was that she challenged biases. She overcame a lot of adversity in her career because she was a woman. She challenged gender roles in society. She overcame those, and she eventually climbed the administrative ladder. Diversity is a big deal in GPA because with today's laws and policies, one cannot be discriminated. Nobody should ever be discriminated for their physical presentation. I learned this in our 590 class, Organizational Behavior, and I have attached one of her books, Class Questions, Feminist Answers, from Joan Acker. I compare Acker to Roosevelt Thomas in his theory of from affirmative action to affirming diversity. His main point in that was affirmative action was necessary for equality. When I researched the expectancy theory, I learned that employees worked a lot harder when they were encouraged and when they were motivated. This could be brought back towards Mary Parker Follett in her giving of orders and how she treated people. But for the purposes of this review, I went out and reached in my notes and found Victor Vroom. He argued, or he stated, that effort was expended dependent upon an objective. What that translates into me was that if an employee or the entire workforce felt that they were appreciated, they would work very hard. I compare this to Dwight Waldo and his theory of the administrative state conclusion. His main argument in that theory was that government is divisible into two parts: decision and execution. Again, if an employee feels that their employer is treating them right, that employee would do their best to make that employee happy. When I transfer over to the leadership side, I think of John Keynes, and I use him for the accountability concept. He was very particular about his economics. He utilized laissez-faire leadership style, and he sat back to watch his employees perform well for his company. When I think of Keynes, I compared him to theorist V.O. Keyes and his theory of budgeting. His theory was the lack of budgetary theory, and the bottom line of that was he wanted the most for his dollar, and it had to be the greatest return. That sounds everything like Keynes because he monitored his employees, his company, and his income. The final theorist I researched was John Burns. He had the concept of equity, and he did a great job in explaining and presenting his transformational leadership style. His argument was that people are drawn together by core values. I translate that into, if people are happy at work or happy at what they do, they will do a good job because they feel the sense of involvement, of being a part of that company and being appreciated. They share similarities, and that helps them perform better because they trust each other. When I thought of Burns, I compared him to Anthony Downs, his theory of the life cycle of bureaus, and the bottom line for that was about the struggle for autonomy. Burns had to show that through transformational leadership, their purpose was meaningful. They had to explain that whatever they believed in was important and that others believed it as well. In closing, I hope my presentation was helpful for others. It was very beneficial for my review, and I will continue to study to prepare for the final weeks. I know that we will all be busy, and I wish everyone the best of luck in their final weeks of this course and in this program. Good luck and God bless.